a little uninspired in the kitchen. We've all been there, but I'm here to help. Here we go. With 3 new recipes, each one inspired by my travels through the state of Sonora. These are simple recipes that are sure to bring smiles to your kitchen table any night of the week. First, I'm taking Pescado Zarandeado off the beach and straight into your oven. Look at how moist that is.
Crazy good.
A hearty, flavor-packed Gallina Pinta stew. It's a full meal in a bowl. And a new favorite in our family, dirty rice with clams. This is the part that I love the most. Oh! In Sonora, I'm visiting the popular beach destination, Puerto Penasco, where some new chef friends are showing me what they love most about Sonora. I'm learning so many new things today. It's all super satisfying and super Sonoran.
Dame tu chocolate, dame café caliente, dame tu corazón.
Today we're making 3 super Sonoran dishes, but they're not just 3 dishes. Each one of them is a meal in itself. And we're gonna start with Pescado Zarandeado. Pescado Zarandeado is a fish that's typically brought in fresh from the sea. It's like the catch of the day. And it's very hard to make at home because you don't have the beach. I don't have the zaranda, which is that flat iron grilling basket, which is where the name Pescado Zarandeado comes from. But I've adapted the recipe so that you can make it in the oven. Now, the Pescado Zarandeado experience is something that you get throughout Mexico's coasts, and there are different marinades. I was really smitten with the marinades that they use in the coasts of Sonora. So we're gonna start with 2 ripe tomatoes, and then I'm gonna grab a whole head of garlic, 4 Anaheim chiles, add an onion to these. What we're doing to these ingredients is I'm really trying to intensify the flavor so we get to that rustic feel of the Pescado Zarandeado at the beach. So I'm gonna put this under the broiler. Now we're gonna make the base of the marinade. I'm adding 1/2 cup of freshly squeezed lime juice, 1/4 cup of soy sauce, 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce, 6 tablespoons of yellow mustard, and I have 1/4 cup of Mexican crema and 1/2 cup of mayo. And this is something that really surprised me when I first traveled to the Sinaloa, Sonora region, how much people love adding mayo and cheese to their seafood and fish dishes. It's kind of crazy. And in the beginning, I was surprised, and then I completely understood why. Because this creamy marinade, when you're broiling or grilling the fish, it makes it stay really moist. I'm adding butter, 2 teaspoons of salt, and freshly ground black pepper. Oh, perfect, you guys. By roasting, we're giving these ingredients no choice but to give us all that they've got. So we're gonna take these chiles verdes that you know as Anaheim, and I'm gonna put them in this plastic bag to really make them sweat. My mom usually grabs a kitchen towel to make them sweat even more, and this will take just a few minutes. And then I'm adding all the onion. I'm removing the peel from the roasted garlic. I'm going to use this bowl that has a little bit of water, and look at how easy this is. Gonna coarsely chop and add to my blender. Look at these, you guys. I mean, this is yummy. The mustard, the soy, the lime, the mayo, the cream, it's already bringing me to like that seaside experience. So I'm gonna puree this until completely smooth. You may think this is a ton, which it is. It's a ton of marinade, but I am making a whole entire fish. It's just like everything you want in a creamy dressing. Now this really makes me feel like I'm at the beach because I have a whole watching angle. Here I'm using a whole red snapper. This is about 6 to 7 pounds. Split it right in the middle. I'm going to add a lot of these marinade. I'm reserving like a third of it to coat a raw vegetable, kind of a slaw that we're making. If you think that you're putting too much, you need to add a little bit more. You really want these fish to be entirely coated. This is a really creamy, mayo heavy dish, but you're gonna see how delicious it gets. So I have my oven at 450, and because I have a whole fish here, I think it's gonna be like 35 minutes. I'm gonna make vegetable slaw to dress the fish tacos with. And I'm going to use a yellow bell, a red bell, and a green bell. I'm just gonna use half of an onion. We're gonna use this creamy dressing with the raw vegetables. It really tastes like a combination between your most favorite creamy Caesar and like a green goddess, but even better. This is so delicious and irresistible looking. You know that the fish is cooked if you can flake the meat. Some scallions, and I can add a little bit of cilantro too. And I have my corn tortillas. You could do flour tortillas if you wanted to, but the zarandeado is traditionally eaten with corn tortillas.
This looks crazy.
Doesn't this look ridiculous?
It's like a dinosaur.
I know. Okay, so look at how moist that is. Is that ridiculous?
Crazy good.
¿Te gustan los pimientos? Do you like bell peppers? And then wait para el hot sauce.
You want more, right?
Yeah.
You want a lot more.
Yeah. Okay.
It's so good.
It has so much flavor, but the fish has the opportunity to shine. Like it's moist and you can taste the red snapper. It has
mustard,
salsa
that's what I
inglesa.
taste. Yeah.
Mayo, mustard.
It's super creamy. Definitely not spicy. It's really savory.
So it is one super Sonoran zarandeado fish. Right up at the top corner of the Sea of Cortez, you'll find one of the top tourist destinations of Sonora, Puerto Penasco. Once a sleepy fishing village, hotels now line the beach and visitors come from all over Mexico and the US. For a truly local look at the seafood destination, some of the best chefs in town offered to give me a tour of the market. Whoa! ¿Cómo se llama? Okay, that feeds your entire neighborhood. Oh, this is gorgeous! I love shrimp!
You said like a whole, para eso son tallas más pequeñas.
They're all saying if you get this quality of gigantic shrimp, don't chop it, eat it whole. My new chef friends and I are picking up ingredients for a feast. And from the looks of this market, it's going to be delicious. All of these chefs are doing this get-together for themselves, what they like to eat, and I've been invited in, so I'm very excited because I don't know what we're eating. Pues, ¿qué vamos a comer? Platíquenme.
Lo estamos poniendo en su misma concha.
Okay. It's the queen clam. Salsa mexicana, which is pico de gallo, tomato, onion, cilantro. Y encima le estás poniendo, paquetito lo haces.
Paquetito.
Oh, so then it's the shape like a Hershey's kiss. Clam kiss.
Clam kiss.
This is like a very unexpected combination, but it is so delicious. Creamy, juicy, chewy. They all came to Puerto Peñasco from different parts of Mexico. So, what brought you here? ¿Por qué se vinieron aquí?
Work.
Deportados.
Work.
Espacio abierto. Se pueden hacer muchísimas cosas aquí.
I love that he says it's an open space. You can do new things here. These chefs all work at different restaurants in town. And whenever they get together, they try to one-up each other with new recipes, all inspired by Sonoran ingredients. ¿Y tú qué tienes aquí?
El filete totuaba.
Totuaba, okay. This is like the fish that has not only defined the region, but why Puerto Penasco became Puerto Penasco in the first place, right?
Así es, empezaron los pescadores a venir a esta área para pescar por temporada.
Ajá.
Entonces sí que se fue poblando de poco en poco.
Porque venían
Esta es la
por este
variante.
pescado,
Así
ok.
es. Se adopta cualquier sabor amantequillado, con tipo de diferente de aceite con oliva, y lo adopta muy bien con el tema de las hierbas.
Ok.
Puré de cebolla caramelizada.
A ver,
Yo creo que aquí hay que definir con 3 bebidas, a ver cuál es la buena.
a little bit like swordfish, a little bit like tuna, very firm and very meaty. Neftalí, ¿este es tu aguachile?
Sí. Aquí ya tenemos chile tatemado,
Ok.
ajo.
Y ajo.
Está aquí el jitomate y el ajo.
People love clamato here.
Como aguacate.
My forest. ¡Qué bárbaro! The shrimp, you know what it feels and tastes like? It's like a shrimp pate. You guys eat really well when you get together. I hope we repeat it again. Now we're gonna make another super Sonoran dish, which is called la Gallina Pinta. Gallina Pinta translates to multicolored speckled hen. And I just find the name adorable. And it's an incredibly hearty stew. So we have a whole chicken cut up into individual pieces. We have a bunch of fresh cilantro with the leaves and the stems. I have 4 cloves of garlic that I peeled. And then I'm gonna add the biggest of the chile verdes. In a normal caldo de pollo in the central part of Mexico, Mexico City, the chicken is cooked with onion, carrots, garlics, bay leaves. Then here comes the Gallina Pinta. And this has just these very few ingredients. And I used to think that because it has fewer ingredients than my regular caldo de pollo, that it would be less flavorful. But I was wrong, because this is so incredibly flavorful in a very different way. A lesson learned, fewer ingredients doesn't mean less taste. So I'm adding 2 teaspoons of salt. Once the water starts to boil, if you see that there's any foam on the surface, you can remove it. Once it comes to a strong simmer, I'm gonna cover it partially and I'm gonna let this cook at medium heat for about an hour. After the meat is cooked, cooks will take all those vegetables and puree them and then add them back to the broth to make the broth much more flavorful. But what I do to mine is that I mirror those ingredients that went into the caldo de pollo and I roast them and I make a seasoning sauce for it. So in a way, I'm transforming what would be a white pozole into a green pozole, and I love the results. I'm gonna grab another Anaheim. I'm gonna put these under the broiler so that they really char. The Gallina Pinta has 3 basic things. It has the chicken that's cooking here, then it has hominy that has been soaked and then cooked until the hominy blooms. And this is the only pozole style stew that also combines the hominy with pinto beans. My Anaheim has sweated. Remove the skin. Add the charred onion, the garlic cloves. I'm adding more cilantro. I'm just breaking it in here. So it's been about an hour. You can see how the broth has a really light color. It's like grassy and floral and just like a very fresh chicken broth. I'm gonna let the chicken cool before I shred it. I'm just gonna strain the broth in here. I'm adding a cup of the broth. I'm gonna puree this until completely smooth. This is why I decided to make this extra step, because remember we have this chicken broth that already has this really nice taste? Well, now we're going to intensify it by adding this roasted seasoning sauce. And then you need like half a pound of hominy. And then I'm adding some of the hominy broth. And then I'm adding half of a pound of pinto beans that we cooked with a white onion. Adding about a cup of the pinto bean broth. We're gonna bring these back to a simmer as I shred the chicken pieces. You wanna remove the skin and the bones. Whenever I see boiled chicken, it makes me think about my father because it's one of his favorite things to eat, and he used to eat it with crackers on the side. It needs to cook for like 8 to 10 more minutes so that all of the flavors here really come together. You know, Chiltepin chiles really have everything that a chile wants to have. It has feisty heat, it has the personality because they're adorable and cute, but it really has this strong taste. And you need to use very little to get a lot from it. How cute. I get the chewy, sweet bite from the hominy, and then that earthy creaminess from the pintos, then the chiltepin combined with the lime juice. And the broth, it's like very hearty. I was gonna say a one-pot meal, but you needed to use many pots. But it is the perfect one-bowl meal. So in thinking about all these super Sonoran dishes and flavors, this is one that has become a family favorite. This is a dirty rice with clams. And the rice cooks in the seasonings of Sonora, and then something very surprising that people don't generally think about when they think of Sonora: clams. Sonorans love their shellfish. I have a pot here that I have over medium to medium-high heat, and I'm going to add a couple of tablespoons of olive oil and a couple of tablespoons of butter because I'm adding leeks and onion to my vegetable base, and they love the company of butter. Now, you really want to finely chop these vegetables because we're gonna cook them until softened. Then we're gonna add a seasoning sauce, and then we're gonna cook the clams in here, and all of that is gonna become the seasoning broth for the rice, and we don't want it overly chunky. We want the vegetables to be really, really, really fine. So I have about a cup of onion, a cup of leeks, a cup of red bell pepper, okay, maybe a little bit more, and then a cup of carrots. As these vegetables soften, I'm gonna make my seasoning sauce. So I have about a pound of really ripe Roma tomatoes, and I have a couple of garlic cloves, and I covered it with water and cooked for about 10 minutes. And then I have the 2 Colorado chiles that rehydrated. The Colorado chile is used in so many things in Sonora. So when I think of Super Sonoran, I think of the green chile, of course, but of its dried version, the Colorado chile, even more. I'm gonna add about a cup of the cooking liquid, then a generous teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of dried oregano, and then a half a teaspoon of ground cumin, which is also very much used in Sonora. This is really like such a basic seasoning mix for Sonorans. So we're gonna puree these until completely smooth. Here we go. Now I'm gonna add 2/3 of a cup of white wine. If you don't wanna use wine, you could also use beer. Half a teaspoon of salt. And I just wanna wait until there's moist vegetable mixture, but not a wet vegetable mixture, which is about to happen. I want all of the sauce. You want all of the sauce too. I have 5 dozen little neck clams, which I love for many reasons. Because you can find them year-round, and you can find them in many places, and because they have a lot of briny, salty taste, and we love briny, salty taste in this house. These clams, as they cook, their liquid and their juices are gonna come out and mix with the sauce and the softened vegetables. I'm gonna let it sit at medium heat, and I'm gonna cover them. They're gonna cook here for about 7 to 8 minutes, just until the clams open. The clams have opened up, and beautifully, beautifully, and it smells delicious. You can see some of the clams started to come out of the shells, and all of those are gonna cook in the rice. So what I wanna do right now is shell like 2/3 of the clams. Think of like a Mexican style clam paella of sorts with the flavors from Sonora. That's what we have going on here. I'm gonna turn the heat over to medium-high heat, and I'm going to add about 3 tablespoons of olive oil. And then we're gonna do the traditional Mexican cooking technique of frying the rice in a little bit of oil before adding the cooking liquid. So I have extra long white rice, and I'm gonna measure about 2 cups. We're looking for the 3 things that are going to let us know when it is time to add the liquid, and that is the looks. The rice color should have changed to a milky white. Then the sound, it should sound heavier, as if you were playing with sand. And then resistance, like it should feel heavier. So now the rice is ready. I'm going to add 4 cups of this incredibly delicious cooking broth. I'm going to add a cup of water because you need a little bit more liquid for this rice because it has the clams. And then we're adding the clams that we shelled and the rest of the clams. If you get clams that don't want to open, you need to discard them. Reduce the heat to low. This is gonna cook so fast, it's really gonna take like 10 minutes. Oh, bring some plates. What do you think about having to shell the clams?
I don't mind it. I mean, I enjoy it more when I have to work for it, you know?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Enjoy the work. Obviously, it's more if you're like actually cooking it, but...
Yeah. Está caliente.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah, this is really good. It tastes like very, not like fishy, but it tastes like a shellfish dish. But it also just has like so many different things in it that it almost becomes a little sweet, no?
What you're saying, I think, describes the main base of the dish, which is this chile colorado. You get the briny from the clams, but overall, it's like the briny clams are sitting on this chile colorado seasoning.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely has a unique flavor, I think.
So you're closing the Super Sonoran day with me?